What's up, world? Let me tell you about this beard growth oil I got from 12 tribes on Earth. 8 ounces of oily goodness with a nozzle that prevents sprays and spills, and soft ingredients that make it perfect addition to anyone's morning routine. From coconut to castor, all these oils are hand chosen. After using this herbal blend, the biggest thing I noticed is how soft, how strong my hair was, and how good I feel. Pick up your bottle today and make your beard the star of the show.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all. Hope you're doing well. We're going to talk about something that happened to the U.S. by the Chinese government. They were able to hack into practically the whole U.S. government. They hit up the Treasury, the U.S. military, the Federal Reserves, the Senate, Human Health and Human Services, NASA, and that's just naming a few. And the U.S. couldn't stop them, y'all. Couldn't stop them. And of course, after the report came out, they got a save face. Oh, the FBI is doing an investigation because they hit up the DOJ as well. And they were like, oh, we got to update our cybersecurity software. Well, you should have been doing that all along. But who knows what info China got away with? Who knows? They don't know. And we're talking about Kash Patel's FBI. And, prior to working for Donald Trump, he was a podcaster, y'all. And Donald Trump thought a podcaster was eligible to run the FBI. Well, he did that with Pete Hegseth. He was a Fox News commentator, and he made him Department of Defense secretary. And these people are not qualified for that. So who knows? Only China knows what they got away with. Yeah, y'all should have hit up the reserve and got reparations out to all of us. Now that's doing something. Now that's doing something right there. Us getting our reparations. Y'all just tap up that Federal Reserve and issue it out to us melanated folks, man. So anyway, let's get started, y'all. If nothing else, this is definitely another major embarrassment for the U.S. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
Got some breaking news. The Justice Department now saying a Chinese state-sponsored hacking group went after the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Senate, NASA, the Energy Department, Health and Human Services, and the National Institute of Health.
Breaking news coming out. The FBI has announced that there have been attacks by China on U.S. government systems, including the DOJ, NASA, the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Senate, and more. Let's take a look at the latest headlines coming out in the past couple of hours with this FBI announcement so you can see it for yourself. U.S. says that Chinese hackers broke into the DOJ, NASA, the Federal Reserve, and the Senate. The Justice Department has announced that it has disrupted the Chinese hacking operations that were responsible for the break-ins at numerous sensitive U.S. federal agencies. In addition to that, the DOJ blames China for a string of hacks targeting federal agencies and hospitals, according to an affidavit filed Wednesday today. We're hearing this came out just a couple of hours ago. The incidents began back in 2018 and included attacks on networks at NASA and the U.S. Senate. These announcements coming out today, August 26, 2026. Now, this comes as well as we've been hearing about Iranian hackers revealing weak spots in the U.S. and the U.K.'s water systems, power grids, as the regime aims to maximize disruptions, we are hearing. And also, we've also received word, shockingly vulnerable U.S. power grid warnings coming out that could result in an 18-month nationwide blackout. Experts have warned more updates coming out on that with video footage. And also, as you guys know, we've seen Suisun City, one of the cities here in California in the United States, that was shut down. Entire cities, operations had to be rerouted. People were unable to pay their bills. And in addition to that, we've seen cities like Gary, Indiana, hit by natural disasters, out of power and unable to get access for people for 13 days. We are hearing that now, August 26, 2026, they are finally getting power. But there is major concern right now about what these attacks, these cyber attacks could do. And we're hearing that China is the number one for cyber threat attacks against the United States. We're hearing they outnumber the United States' cyber defenses 50-1. For every one cyber defender that we have here in the United States, there are 50 attackers hitting from China. In fact, China has outright come out and said, we are attacking your critical infrastructure systems. In fact, we've already compromised many of them that you don't know about. And when the war between China and Taiwan erupts, if the United States decides to get in the middle of it, to come try to be an ally in the Pacific to Taiwan, China said, we will initiate those cyber attacks and shut off your water, your power grids, your communication, your transportation, your ports. We will disrupt them all simultaneously at a flip of a switch.
Chinese state-sponsored hackers are poking around our government websites, and they broke into some of the most sensitive corners of the U.S. government. The Justice Department says federal agents just disrupted a massive cyber espionage operation linked to Beijing, China. And this wasn't small stuff. We're talking breaches inside the Department of Justice, NASA, the Federal Reserve, and even the U.S. Senate, the same institutions that are supposed to be locked down tighter than Fort Knox. Investigators say the hackers used two specialized platforms called QScan and QTFY to quietly slip into federal networks. The U.S. has now seized those domains, but officials aren't saying what or how much data was actually stolen or how long the intrusions lasted. Translation: the damage is probably a lot worse and deeper than anyone is willing to admit. And when reporters asked China for a comment, the embassy stuck to the usual script, which is to deny any and everything, claim innocence, and then move on. This is the kind of breach that forces a hard question. If foreign actors can reach this high up the ladder, what else is exposed? Like, share, and follow for more breakdowns.
The FBI and DOJ just announced that China has successfully hacked critical infrastructure and government agencies in the United States. Now, the FBI was able to disable the tools they were using to do this and stop it. But what this really means is they were able to get in and get data, and we don't know what data was taken or how much damage was potentially done as a result of this. The agency victims of this intrusion were NASA, the Federal Reserve, the Department of Energy, the Department of Justice, Department of Health and Human Services, National Institutes of Health, and the U.S. Senate. The FBI was able to prevent access to the hacking platforms these Chinese hackers were using called QScan and QTFY. So they were able to eliminate their access to those domains and stop the attack. It appears that China hired a group of hackers to carry out this attack, and these tools they were using masked their origin. But the United States has disabled this and prevented any further attacks using the tools that these Chinese hackers were using. So pretty serious stuff here, guys. Big news. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Like, share, spread the word, follow along for more, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
This just happened, everybody. Live breaking news. China just targeted these United States of America, hacking and getting inside some of the most sensitive institutions in our entire government. We're talking the Department of Justice, the U.S. Senate, NASA, the Federal Reserve, and a whole lot more. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on. The FBI says it has struck back. I'm going to give you the full breakdown of what's going on. Plus, we have President Trump in an exclusive interview answering some of the hottest topics and moments of speculation in the entire political and news cycle right now. Number one, we have our CIA director, John Ratcliffe, who just went to Moscow, flew to Moscow in the middle of the night, around midnight, and it has stirred up a ton of controversy. He answers that, as well as Canada and U.S. relations. The tensions are rising. President Trump answers that very bluntly and authentically, like he always does, the way we love it. And probably one of the most mystifying things ever that's happening in the Middle East is Khamenei's son, Motajab, the new supreme leader, apparently. Is he alive or is he not? He answers that as well. We got a lot to share with you. Let's just jump right into it. Federal investigators have just seized the infrastructure they say was helping Chinese state-sponsored hackers hide where their attacks were really coming from. And what the DOJ revealed about how deep this operation went should concern every single American, because this isn't a warning about what could happen. This already happened. And today, the United States just made these China-based companies are some of the biggest threats and dangers to the entire world. And the fact that they're sponsored by China.
Okay, y'all. Y'all, this is something China's been doing for years. I just want y'all to know. And they have always been able to successfully hack the US. They have always been able to do it. And the US have never been able to shut them down and stop them. But let this be known, America, you should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed. Now, I know it's not official that America's no longer a superpower, but they are no longer no damn superpower, you know. And number two, you just don't know how much we laugh at your high IQ because we know you're full of shit. And you just got upstaged by China. They just, boy, this place should be so embarrassed. This place just got hijacked by China, and they got enough information to shut the whole country down. But they have been doing this for years, y'all. This is not no first time. They were doing this decades back, hacking into phone calls and all kinds of stuff before the computers were around. They were hacking into phone calls. And they always have been able to do it. And the U.S. to this very day can't stop them. Yeah. Next time, take down their credit bureau. Give us our reparations. Or give us all 800 credit scores like Iran said they were going to do. Yeah, give us all 800 credit scores and give us our reparations and wipe out the IRS. Y'all can do some good thing. Y'all can do some real good works, You just got to, hack in and do the right thing. Y'all just don't seem to, hit the mark on that one. Well, China got so many hackers, it's not even funny. I even got hacked by China, y'all. Back in, it must have been the 90s. I couldn't get into an email account that I had. It was an AOL back then, because you know how AOL was sending you them CDs almost every day in the mail. Well, I had an AOL account and I had an AOL email, and I couldn't get in my account. A couple of days went by, I could not get in my account. When I finally was able to get in my email account, there was an email from some guy in China. And he told me, he said, "I'm sorry, I used your account to blast out millions of emails." And yeah, he sent me some apology letter. He said, "I did use your account and your information, and I blast out millions of emails." And he said, and it was all in Chinese writing and everything. So anyway, I got rid of that email. I never used it again. I got rid of it. They ended up giving me another one, but after that happened, I did not want to use AOL again. I did not want to use them. But they've been hacking the US forever now, y'all. And it just goes to show you they don't have any good software in place to stop them. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to pick up your hair products. And I will see you if you're coming for the lunar eclipse. I will be starting the live at 9:15, but time and date will be starting at 9:23. All right. So I will see you then. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and shalom.